Greetings, this is Paul the Poke from paulthepoke.com. Today's topic, resurrection, Job, and the Kinsman Redeemer. And, the point of the post is that, the critic would say, well, the resurrection is something that only takes place in the New Testament. There's no evidence of the resurrection or any kind of hint of resurrection being discussed in the Old Testament. And my answer to that would be to go to arguably the oldest book in the Bible, and that would be Job. And the argument would be is that resurrection is noted from the oldest book in the Bible, Job, to the last book in the Bible, Revelation. And the first scripture reference would be Job 14 verses 13 through 15. And this is Job talking to God. Oh, that you would hide me in Sheol, that you would conceal me until your wrath returns to you, and you would set a limit for me and remember me. If a man dies, will he live again? All the days of my struggle I will wait until my change comes. You will call and I will answer you. You will long for the work of your hands. And Sheol is the grave. Oh, that you would hide me in Sheol, that you would conceal me until your wrath returns to you. Well, the idea of wrath implies judgment, and Job is effectively presenting a legal argument back to God. It's like, hey, if I've died one time, I've paid my penalty for sin. The wage of sin is death, and if I've died once, you can't judge me a second time. And that's consistent with what we know in Hebrews 9:27. Man's appointed to die once. So Job's making a legal argument with God. It's like, if I've served my term and died, you can't judge me a second time. And besides, as Job says, if a man dies, will he live again? He's effectively asking God, is this it? I die and I'm done? So what's the point? And Job also says, all the days of my struggle I will wait until my change comes. So Job knows he's going to be changed at some point, and his body will be better and perfect as it was in the beginning. And this is what the Apostle Paul talks about in 1 Corinthians 15 with the glorification of an eternal body, the reuniting of the perfect body, soul, and spirit as it was created in Eden. And Job states, you will call and I will answer you, much the same way as Lazarus answered Jesus, and much the same as the event of the resurrection and rapture that's discussed in the New Testament. It's Jesus who returns in the clouds and calls the resurrected first, and then those who remain alive are the raptured. So Job's aware of the concept of resurrection. Job 19, verses 25 through 27. As for me, I know that my Redeemer lives, and at the last he will take his stand on earth. Even after my skin is destroyed, yet from my flesh I shall see God, whom I myself shall behold, and whom my eyes will see and not another. My heart faints within me. And the focus is on the word Redeemer. It's the Hebrew word Goel, and it's where we get the hymn, I know that my Redeemer lives. And a Goel is the same thing as a kinsman redeemer that's used in the book of Ruth. And the law of the kinsman redeemer is in Leviticus 25. And just summarizing, a kinsman redeemer, he pays off one's debts, he defends the family, he avenges a killing, and he marries the widow of the deceased. So Job knows his debt for sin will be taken care of. And he also knows that the Redeemer will avenge the killing of his family members. Job lost a lot of family members leading up to his eventual restoration. But the book starts out with lots of loss of life in Job's family. And he knows that God will avenge those deaths. And Job knows he's going to physically die. And Job 42, verse 17, verifies that he dies. And Job died an old man full of days. But he knows that he will be resurrected. Yet from my flesh I will see God, whom I myself shall behold, and whom my eyes will see, and not another. So he knows he's coming back. And the verse also indicates the timing of the resurrection. At the end, at the last. And so who is our kinsman redeemer? And that would be Jesus, Galatians 4, verses 4 and 5. But when the fullness of time came, God sent forth his Son, born of a woman, born under the law, so that he might redeem those who were under the law, that we might receive the adoption as sons. And so we can go back and look at the qualifications of a kinsman redeemer. And does Jesus pay off our debts? Well, the answer is yes. He's paid our debt for sin at the cross. Does he avenge our killings? Yes, we're told not to seek revenge. Revenge and vengeance is that of the Lord, so he takes care of that as well. And marry the widow of the deceased. And we're the bride of Christ as the church. We're the bride of Christ, much as Ruth was to Boaz as a type. And that happens at the end. Christ is our kinsman redeemer, and Job foreshadows that in his discussion with God in arguably the oldest book of the Bible. So if you're interested in topics related to resurrection, check out paulthepope.com, keyword resurrection. Thanks for listening. Bye.